Alright, here I am today at the Ammonoosuc River. She's over there playing, rolling on top of rocks. And in this pool, I've never seen leeches here before. I've always been swimming here, spending hours at a time. But today, the pit is filled with a bunch of leeches. I just pulled 3 off my foot, and I'm only walking knee deep. I'm walking on like a sandbar here between the river and this pool. The leeches, you can't just see them here, but when you walk around, your vibrations wake them up and they start walking around. Whoa, look at that. We got a beaver. I've never been this close to a beaver before. Look at this. Usually they're scared of me, but this is just a little baby. How cute that is. Wow, so close. Hello. Hello. Oh. Oh, look at that, fighting the current. That beaver is tiny. Just a little baby. Oh, is it gonna come back here on the rock with me? 'Cause look, it's not going anywhere. It just does not have the power. Oh, coming back. Oh, coming back with me. Is that even a beaver? I've never actually seen a baby one up close. It doesn't have the flat tail. Does that develop later? Or is that just a woodchuck? That very well might just be a woodchuck, but that... Why would a woodchuck be out here in like the middle of the woods? It's gotta be a beaver. It doesn't have much fear, but this is where the leeches were. Probably in these dark shadows. Like walking here, it's really muddy. Go over there and get a peek at the creature again. Puppy is fine over there by herself. Whoa, these rocks are uneven. Look at, there's barely any fear in this guy. Look at that. Not trying to attack. Oh, it's grunting its teeth. Time to leave it alone. We've had our fun. Glad I was able to get that close. Oh, dog went to sleep. Let's go see what the dog's up to doing. April! April, come here! April! Well, these guys didn't go anywhere. That's one of the leeches I pulled off my foot, called a northern bloodsucker. They can get up to 6 inches long. Matter of fact, I'm going to show you guys some of the super big ones. There's a beaver pond nearby that we're going to go check out. This is the Ammonoosuc River. We're going to go up at maybe 40 miles. Look. Look at the beaver. The beaver is chattering its teeth. It's just a baby. It doesn't know to run away. It's just hiding in this plant. We've been gone a half an hour. It's just still here. Even after I walked away, a normal animal would have taken off. Just a baby animal. She's crying. It's chattering. She has no interest in the beaver. Hablo. Say what? Oh wow, that scared me for a minute. That noise, it sounded like a bird. I wish I had a carrot. Beavers eat carrots. Because, you know, a carrot is technically a root. Oh, that scares me every time it starts chirping like that. Beavers like eating wood, bark. Carrot is technically a root, so it's close to being a piece of wood. We're leaving now for good. We gotta leave this guy alone. Alright, this is what I was talking about. My vibrations, look what it has attracted. A large leech in the water. Look at that. If you put your hand in the water, the oils on your skin will attract a bunch of them to the area. This is the secondary pond and their main pond. This is a massive beaver dam here, over 40 years old, alongside the river. And this place has a lot of leeches. Just walking around here on the dam is making vibrations, attracting them. Look at that, we have a big leech right here. Look at that. Right there. Big old leech. They're feeding on something, because they're not skinny. Something is allowing them to get huge. But one day I want to see leeches. I don't see any here. You can see the water here goes right down to being like 10 feet deep, because this is a beaver constructed dam that they built out of nothing but wood. This place right here actually washed out the road. They just had to rebuild it with all these rocks. Road was closed for a while. This river in the winter time after the melt gets that high. to throw all that junk up on the sides that you see. And right here, we have a culvert that we're going to look at. The end of it is new plastic, but if you take a look inside, right there, you can see the old iron pipe. The end must have got broken off when it took out the road, so they just replaced this. And this pipe, the end of it here, is not that old. So why did they... Or why did this happen? Look at this. It's broken. I think water got inside of it, froze, and broke it like that. Because you see how they left the ends open like this? Water gets down inside there, freezes, expands, breaks it. But that doesn't explain why it's happening further in. There must be holes in it allowing water to get inside and freeze. Or they just slammed it down on top of rocks, didn't even lay it down. It looks like it wasn't put in that well, because you got a low spot in there at the joint. Why was it done like that? Downstream a little ways, you can see the river is very low, but when it got high, it started ripping away here at the riverbank, and all these trees fell over. The next big storm, all this debris is going to get taken away somewhere. This river is so powerful, it'll just snap those trees in half. Here we are at a culvert pipe. It's pretty obvious that it would be a pipe here because of the swamp, but they have this tall pole here, probably for the winter. Water's not high enough for this thing to work. Got a moose track, but that's been rained on a few times. It looks like they just did work here. Yeah, the moose must really like this. But take a look at the pipe here. Oh, got a frog. That pipe is all damaged. It looks like it was done by their machinery the way it's crushed. This is new. Look at the bottom of it, all rusted out. Yeah, there's a big clog in there from the beavers. I see it down there. So... doesn't look terrible. That thing probably has a couple more good years before it has to be replaced. The other side, pretty messy. Looks like a pool leeches would hang out in. Look at this, that was definitely done by their machinery, being careless. You see how the bottom is all ripped up? They reached down here with a bucket and they wrecked the culvert. There is a clog in there, most likely done by the beavers. That whole pipe needs to be replaced. This nice beaver pond. Got access here, people may be fishing. I see a fish bed in the water. A lot of moose hang out here at night on this stretch of road. Down here we're going to be taking a look at these 4 culverts that they use to deter the beavers. You can see that attachment on the end of the far one. The way they have the system built, the far one there is the one that's usually running. These first 3 basically do nothing on a typical day. That one down there is drawing water from the bottom and going through. Then if we have a big storm, these 3 will start working and trickling. Even on a normal year, these 3 are usually running. We have not had a lot of rain this season. But if the beavers clog these 3 open ones and the bottom of that one, in a big storm, instead of washing out the road, it'll start pouring in that. Beavers do not work during storms, usually. So we're gonna go take a quick look at these culverts. Jump down. You can see the water's usually way up here. Looking inside, no holes rusted through it yet. So this probably has another good decade left before it needs replacing. Look at this, we have a bigger green frog right there. Oh, the next culvert here. A bunch of baby frogs down here also. Whole bunch of them. Looking in the second culvert, basically the same thing. The end of it you can see is a little messed up. Some idiot with an excavator was probably reaching down there trying to clear it without even going down there first to inspect what they're clearing. Next culvert is also pretty good. Looks nice. There are a ton of these little baby frogs. Must have been a nest around. This pollen here also looks incredibly nice. The rings it's making. This guy here's, wonder if that guy slowed down just so I wouldn't be smothered with dust. This attachment on the end here looks like it would probably be newer. Get up on here. Yep, the beavers clogged the bottom section of it. Somebody's been shooting at this. Those little holes right there look like 22s. That right there looks like bird shot on the side of it. Bird shot, you see, wasn't even powerful enough to go through it. The smaller holes, probably 22. Okay, we're gonna look across the street now. If we can get through the overgrown trees. All right, so like I said, the one on the end usually is pulling water from the bottom. Of course, it's working a little bit, just a tiny trickle. But on a typical year when you have a good amount of rain, usually you'd have water coming out of these, as you can see by the rust marks. Now, the rust marks, when you're really far up north in this rocky area, basically does not mean the water is usually halfway full. What that means is it got really high. A whole bunch of rocks went tumbling through it. And a whole bunch of rocks, it's like sandpaper. It wore away the galvanization on the bottom of the culvert, so it starts to rust. If you look really closely, you can see pitting on the bottom. So typically, it only runs about an inch or two of water out of that pipe. Now looking at the evidence below, that one there always runs. This one here, sometimes barely ever, because of how grown in it is. You can see someone reached down here with an excavator. That's the only way that lip would have been pushed up like that. Or it could have been just installed like that. Doesn't make a huge deal. Although it could collect some debris. It's really slippery here, this moss. That's iron oxidizing bacteria right there on the ground. Right there's an example of how high the river gets. It threw all that junk up there on the edge. And most of that probably passed through the culvert. There's a wooden post down there, a sign. I want to go see what that is. Now this one here, the one always running, will probably need to be replaced first. You see there is some pitting on the bottom of it. Also a steeper angle. A lot of spiders in that one. But when they do replace it, I'm sure they'll replace all of them at the same time, which they should. Let's go see. What is this post? There's a piece of culvert. Not from these. Maybe the very first culvert that was here before those ones. What is this? Some kind of post. All right. Bunch of water skimmers. A quick look at this section of road. This culvert here looks like the same size as those past 4. This river, by the evidence, you can see it only works during a flash flood, the way it's all torn apart. When this would first start working, you'd see a giant flow of logs start to come into it. Look at all the rocks inside. That's what grinds down the middle of it, making it rust. All right, here's a really big corrugated culvert we can probably walk through. Once again, it looks like this typically doesn't run. Just look at the riverbed. It's covered in sticks. This is like one of those places where you get a flash flood. Suddenly a big flow starts coming down here, dragging a bunch of stuff. And that's what could wash it out. Can't really prevent that. Wow, look at all the frogs going into that nasty, mucky water. That oil is caused by the iron oxidizing bacteria. That's not like from vehicles. See, we have some pretty recent moose tracks here. The moose like to hang out down here. They're a nice little mud hole. This is not your typical riverbed. Looks like maybe a 3-foot pipe. It's about up to my waist. That's about 3 feet. All the baby frogs haven't been eaten yet. By the end of the summer, their population will be way down. Sometimes if you're driving at night, I've seen owls swoop down and grab frogs. Little damage right there. Probably by their excavator. They probably drove it out onto the pipe, breaking that. But inside here, there are no pits in the pipe yet. Look through, there's a little bit of debris in there, probably by storms, because I'm sure the beavers wouldn't be here, because this culvert is usually not working. You see they went in here with their excavator, grabbed a whole bunch of the stuff flowing. I've got, oh, there's a ton of tadpoles in this one. A lot of tadpoles swimming. And they wrecked the end of this culvert also with their excavator. You can see that sharp lip that is now up is starting to collect some debris, and that could contribute to a clog inside the pipe. A lot of raspberries here, a bunch of leaves from the mountain. If the leaves are here, this means it doesn't run too often. Tiny little clog here. Ah, gross. That thing filled up with rainwater. When I lifted it, I tipped it upside down. Goes around a corner and dumps in the river. This culvert's in good condition. Got some spiders too. That light you're seeing is a storm drain. If you leave your hand out, it usually will come right to you. Look at that. April! 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 Oh, she's going back the deep way, right through the big swimming hole. She could have walked on the sandbar to the left. I guess she didn't realize that. She went through the deep spot. I have been swimming right here for years. Never had one leech on me. But right now, by going in there, I just had 3 leeches on my foot. 1. There's number 2, a little bit bigger. And the 3rd one swam away somewhere. So we have leeches now in the swimming hole. Those are called northern bloodsuckers. Some of them can get up to 8 inches, I've seen in this river. And that's not completely stretched out.
Are you playing with